forgot to get the veggie one.
It's bacon, egg, chorizo, egg, and thank you. Jalapeno at Cavender's and down in the one on the box doctor. I like to
No, I feel like I've been long enough though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's like it never turned off. Yes, every Wednesday when there's me, I told if you vibrate, it doesn't have vibrate. It just my husband's constantly ringing me. I'm like, just don't text me every day, not every Wednesday. I can't.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go and get started. Jimmy, you about ready?
Yeah.
Don't want to leave Jimmy out. Okay, so we're going to start today a little bit differently. Usually we do a core value about something that we fervently believe. But today I'm going to take it just a little bit in a different direction. I'm going to go back to our core purpose, our mission, and our vision statement. Oh, somebody wants in. Janet can get in. Okay, there you go. Hi, John. Shree, Jana, good morning, everyone. So I was just saying, instead of a core value today, I'm going to do our core purpose. So what we do, we help people find and create a home that feels like them. Our mission, which is why we do what we do, is creating homes, building community, and real estate with soul. Our vision statement is where we are going. To encourage homeownership and make all components of the residential real estate process, which is design, brokerage, lending, construction, and soon pool and outdoor, easier, more accessible, and more enjoyable than ever before. We accomplish this by providing access to the best one-stop shop real estate experience across the state of Texas and a curated team of experts that provide unparalleled quality, value, and customer service. The subtext is that we take extreme ownership for both the success and failure of any project and role we are tasked with. Good morning. So I just wanted to let y'all know during my quarterly catch-ups with a lot of people, I kept hearing things that were really encouraging to me. One of the things that I heard is that people enjoy the real estate with soul. They enjoy this mastermind time. They enjoy the camaraderie that we share and how we do. This is more of a we lock arms and we run together in the same direction. And so it was very encouraging to Jimmy and I to hear those words from you guys. So thank you for giving us that feedback. But I just wanted to reiterate to you that is our commitment to you, is to provide you good service, good tools, and a good way to do real estate. Now, moving on, announcements. We have a couple of things I need to go over. Actually, several things. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the next 6 weeks or so. Halloween is Tuesday. The party is from 2 to 5. Costumes are required, or Jamie will pull something out of the old bin and make you put it on. So bring your costume. And what's the rule as far as like if you wear something?
Oh, if you're in the top 3, you have to perform in your character.
I just want you to know that we got this.
You got this?
We got this. It is so well planned out. We got this.
Well, I was trying to decide if I wanted to be Richard Simmons or MC Hammer, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wait.
Come on.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, so Pathway to Mastery graduation is Tuesday. Class is 11:45 to 1, so we can be done for the Halloween party. And we will graduate at 1 o'clock-ish, probably 12:30-ish, but if everything goes like I think it will. November 15th is 100 Days to Greatness graduation. That is 4 weeks away. So be preparing for that for 100 Days to Greatness people. On December the 6th, we will have, that's usually our first agent meeting of the month. And I will usually go through wins and stuff. We're not going to do that in December. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce to you the new agent template website. So we're going to have a lot of stuff put together by that time, but that's the day that we're going to unveil that to you. Everybody will get their own agent website that looks like a Sixth Ave website. The following Wednesday, we will show you how to use it, how to do some things with it, and then also how to use it as a funnel for your Real Scout. So that's 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks in December, and then probably won't have agent meetings at the end of the month because of Christmas and the holidays
Yeah, the 13th will be our last agent meeting for the year.
for the year. Okay, so those two things. The 9th is the 6th Avenue Christmas extravaganza, which will be here. We're going to have Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus and 2 reindeer.
One
One
reindeer with Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
One reindeer. So photographer will be here taking pictures. We're going to have holiday refreshments. I think we're talking about a cookie decorating table, so that'll be kind of cool. If you want a pie, go back to Slack in the guides channel. Taja and Holly were nice enough to give you what theirs looks like. Create a Google form or send it out to your people. Get a list, and then we need to know how many pies are. What's the deadline for pies?
The 29th.
9th?
And we did some shopping last week, like we called HEB,
Mhm.
Costco, and all that. Costco seems to be the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Biggest pies, I mean, and we have to limit variety of flavors and things like that, just so we can simplify the process.
Apple, pecan,
Yeah,
pumpkin.
Yes, and the pecan is $16.99. The pumpkin is like $5.99, and I think
Yeah.
the apple is like
so I would do
$6.99.
pumpkin if I were you.
The pumpkin is legit, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they're like 3 pounds, 10 ounces. So
Yeah.
they're like a very large pie. And really and honestly, at the end of the day, it's the gesture.
Wait,
I mean,
so you're saying we're gonna be paying for that pie and not the $15 pie that Taylor told us about? No, that's the same thing that we're talking about. She was just saying on average.
Because I was thinking $15 is a lot for a pie. Why am I
Well,
at Costco?
if
So
it-
yeah,
if it were
On
me-
average.
If it were me, and you compose it however you want to, I mean, how you spend your money is how you spend your money. If it were me, I would tell my clients I was going to provide them a pumpkin pie and a treat to come by here and get a picture, and I would move on with my day. It's the gesture. I mean,
And it's pumpkin pie cheap.
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
pumpkin
And
pie's
that
the
way you're
cheapest.
not,
So the pecan is the expensive one?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
I think it's $16.99.
Okay.
because of the pecan. So they are gonna pick them up that day on December.
Probably on Friday, I would say.
I meant the clients are picking them up here.
Yes,
on
yes, yes.
Saturday.
On the 9th.
From 12 to
From
4.
12.
So 12 to 4 is the pie pickup. Pictures are from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
With Santa Clauses, Mr. Clauses, and the reindeer. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're going to use Jimmy's office for the reindeer.
Yep.
Just the reindeer in his office. We just turn it loose.
Go.
And then the next day is Sunday the 10th, and that is the Christmas party at Joe T. Garcia's. If you haven't responded to Rachel's invitation, please do so to let her know if you're coming and how many people are coming, you and your spouse, you and your partner, how it works out. I also wanted to quickly hit early voting is going on right now. And we talked last week about the impending law where they're going to make the homestead exemption 100,000. I am working on a way that if that occurs and we have issues, I think I can help you what you'll need to know. So I'm working on a way, but we don't have to worry about it. It's still another 2 weeks away. So we got time to jack with it. But CHAR is recommending that we support props 1, 4, 6, 7, 8 as realtors. That's what they're supporting. So 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. I don't know what's in all of them, but that's what they're supporting. And that's-
I have the cliff notes about all that. I'll get it.
I've got it. I saw it. I just didn't want to hit all 5 of them in this meeting because it's kind of pointless. 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. Vote. 4 is the most important. That's the one where we get the homestead. Okay. So now, yes, go ahead.
And don't forget, I think Kayla sent it out yesterday in an email, but our
Party on the
party in the patio next week,
I
Saturday.
meant to put that in there. I
Don't
forgot.
forget to sign up if y'all want to join us. 'cause
Do
we
they
have-
still have people with tickets? I mean, they still have tickets.
We had like 50 something people signed up
Can
yesterday.
we look at the list to see if we have people signed up? Because I don't keep texting them. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to say one thing too, as kind of an update. So software for agents is a really big deal to me and just to us as a company. And that's just, software is probably one of my biggest things that I always am trying to stay ahead of. That's in construction. We have the best construction software for our storytelling stuff. We have 3 different tech decks for how we handle social media. And so Ryan, thankfully went to what's the tech?
I went to the Tech 360 Summit yesterday at the Omni Hotel, and it's mainly for brokers and I don't know. I guess everybody was invited. Go ahead.
But yeah, so mainly like the whole purpose of that is to like, is there any new software out there? Is there something better than ReChat? Is there something better is there something better than our tech or something that we need to add or take away or replace just to kind of like move into just to be on top of stuff. Other than Compass's software, there's not anything out there. Like there's not anything coming that's better than ReChat right now for just the overall like tech software that you need to do your job as agents. And then Real Scout is just an add-on that we prefer because it works with all our social media, it works with search engines, that's like a natural CRM like funnel for us. And then DocuSign that integrates in with ReChat. Obviously, there's other kinds of DocuSigns that are cheaper, but DocuSign is honestly the best.
It's the standard.
It's the standard, and ReChat is the best. One little quick note: you want to tell about the AI that's coming?
Okay, so
cool.
I don't know when it's going to come,
Sometimes
but so yesterday I'm walking through and I'm literally just looking at computer screens, and there was one that was I can't tell you how big it was. It's probably 16 foot across. They had the whole. It was a touch board. It was. I was like, oh my gosh, I want this at home. Anyway, I could get some things on that screen. But so I was walking around looking at everybody's stuff, and I was just trying to look at computer screens and not at people, because as soon as you looked at a person, they were like, "You want to come over here and do this thing with us and look at our stuff?" And I was like, "I don't want to do that." So I just walked around and looked at everything, and I'm walking and I looked at a computer screen and I go, "That looks like ReChat." And then I looked up and it was Thomas from Philadelphia, our trainer. He was standing there, so I got a picture with him and sent it to Tanner just to be funny. But we started talking and he goes, "You want to see what's coming?" And I said, "Sure." He picked up his phone and he's got the beta software that they're working on, something called Lucy. And it's going to be built in to ReChat. And it'll be things like he picked his phone up, pushed a button and said, "Send a CMA on 123 Main Street to client X."
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, and he goes, and he had a whole list of things that he could touch and tell Lucy to do. It's not perfect. It's Chat GPT 4, which is like really, really, really new. So they're working on training it because it's like a dog. You have to train it to tell it what to do. They're working on that. He's hoping first quarter of 24 we'll have Lucy. Also asked about, Danielle had asked me specifically about the chat, the AI window in ReChat, about making it smaller. And I told Thomas, I said, "Can y'all make that just a button like every other website in the world where it's not half the screen?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "We've heard that. We're working on it." So
will that be included? Like,
Yeah.
Is that Lucy extra?
it's
or
baked
that's-
in.
It's kind of just, it was the whole point of me bringing that up from an update standpoint is we are on top of that. We are just as a leadership, like thinking through that and looking at what is new, what is upcoming, and we want the best. I mean, period. And so if you hear anybody else of like, or you come from another brokerage and you're like, this is way better, other than Compass's because they built it for like $10 billion or whatever it was. It's like from what we can afford and what we can build ourselves. This is the best, and what is coming is still the best. So that was really encouraging. It's like, great, we don't need to make any changes, which is good, because anytime you make a change with your tech deck, like it's really frustrating. You learn a whole new system. So that was really encouraging to hear that one, we made a good decision, and two, that the company is very innovative and it's continuing to be innovative. So just kind of cool.
You know that Super is like working on a lot of new things too,
Mhm.
right? And so like here pretty quick, I think they're gonna roll out where like when you get out of the car, like the door's gonna unlock, like it's gonna coordinate with your phone and all that. Like, and there's like it's like a security measure, which I was like, is that really a security measure? But yeah, there's a lot coming down with Super, I know.
Well, the AI is really changing the way that we do things.
Yeah.
The artificial intelligence.
As long as it doesn't replace me.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they tried that a couple of years ago in California.
Yeah.
They tried that. They tried that with an iPad. They would have an iPad located at the front door, and a buyer would walk up, and that it would recognize their face because they had put in their license when they made the appointment to see the house. The door would unlock. They would go in. There would be another screen inside that would tell them about the house and stuff.
Wow.
They tried that for probably a year, and then it went away.
Oh, good.
So, okay. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Maria. She's going to teach us how to follow up like a boss or like pro. And Maria, the floor is yours.
Do I have to stand or can I take your-
You can sit down if you're comfortable. This is Mastermind. This is very, very casual.
Well, my way is not the right way, but it's worked. I'm gonna make this a little bit more of a conversation. When y'all get a phone call from one of your sons or Zillow or Google phone number for a realtor, what is your first question to the client? So they tell you, Gracie, I'm in front of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Brian. What do you say?
Do you have an agent? Are you working with an agent? That's my first question.
Okay,
Are you looking to buy? Are you in the market to buy?
okay. Do you,
What is my first question when someone calls me about a sign?
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of sign calls, but I would just, I don't know. Don't worry about property.
so I'm gonna help you, and then I try to educate them on that house, so I sound like I know everything about the house, because I mean, I'm the listing agent, so obviously I know the most. So I try to sound like, look how humble I am, in case they don't have an agent. And then at some point, if they say, can I see the house? Then that's when I would ask, are you working with a realtor? Okay. Do you, so in case, yeah, that too. Do you ever get a phone call where you don't know much about the house?
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay. So we have to be quick on our responses so that they don't think that we don't know what we're talking about.
Okay.
So typically, and I'm going off of what Zillow and Convergent taught us when I was in a team. So it kind of works pretty well, and you modify it to you on how your personality is, right? So they taught us to actually, oh, great. What did you like about the house? Are you in front of it, or did you see it online? And then they tell you, I know, I like that it's, in a price range, or is it in the area? Okay, great. Is this the location? This is the community that you're more attracted to? Is this where you want to be? Yes. And, because sometimes these people that call you are in a hurry and they want to, but once you start getting interested in, oh, let's talk about what you are interested in, is this the community you want to be in? Then they're a little bit more warm in answering some of the questions. So the first one is called the appointment, and here's I did print out.
Is that a printout for that?
Yes. So it's the EDILAM, the appointment, the start of conversation, setting the appointment. So not a lot of the times you will be able to get them to the house that very same day. So you'll let them know, and we have to actually let the seller a 24-hour notice maybe. Or what is another time that we are able to tour the house? What's your availability?
I'm trying to get this up, guys, so y'all can see it.
And then there's another section.
That's the one you're on right there.
Smooth and easy, the script for-
Smooth and easy. Okay. That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. I didn't print that one, but we have to start with that. Okay. We can convert that.
Which one do you want?
Script for permissional free.
Okay, this one, best practices for connection.
It is.
Win the first conversation in a virtual world.
Yeah.
I'm looking. There it is. Okay, I got it. I'll put that one up. All right. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so it's about the appointment setting. Getting that first commitment to meet the actual client to tour the house. Now we're gonna get off the script of this. So I tried with a conversation, are you already approved, right? Well, a lot of the times they're not, and we kind of push them away when we try to push them to get them approved. But you want that face-to-face interaction as your first meeting to see if you can build that rapport, so that they work with you again and want to do more houses. I know that some of our training is, will and they'll tell us, well, have they been approved? Sometimes it doesn't work that way. It didn't for me. I had to meet the person before I could even get it.
Well, it kind of sounds silly, but I think you know them. But my approach is always trying to like have like a first date, sort of like, you know, like let me see if we work good. And I know like from a danger point of view, that's kind of like weird, but like I always want to see if people like, you know, is it natural conversation, is it natural flow?
Right.
And so I can ask those harder questions because I feel like if somebody calls me and says, well, hey, what about this? Well, hey, are you pre-approved? Well, hey, are you worth my time? I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hang up the phone. And so I always try to use Eric LeMay's first date approach.
And yeah, Eric,
Jenna had her hand up too.
yeah.
I think there's more ways to qualify a person than just asking them if they're pre-approved, what some of those questions might be. So do you have a house to sell or are you renting? And what's your motivation for, you know, you can ask different little questions to find out, because you can learn a lot. They'll tell you.
Yeah,
They
will.
over the phone,
Yeah.
you know, they want to see it.
Yeah.
And so you got to kind of work around their desire to get in the house.
Mhm.
So learn as much as you can up front.
And so in that conversation, you'll find out, like I asked, oh, is this the first time you're gonna go to her house? Well, no, I've already been, you know, oh, okay, so you're working with a realtor, and there's where you're gonna find out if they already have a realtor or not. If they say, no, this is my first tour, okay, great. And then you set the appointment. The second one is location. So in our same conversation, we ask, okay, is this the neighborhood? Were you driving in the neighborhood? Is this where you want your kids? You know, whatever their motivation being in that particular community, is this the community that you want to be in? Because I have some other houses that I have in mind that we may be able to see, you know, when we set up a meeting. So then you go into, at that point,
Your own location.
yes,
Okay.
location, inquire the buyer might be interested in more properties in the same community or area or zip code or school. Any questions on that? I think that was very obvious. Yeah. And like as Jenna says, the motivation is, do you have to sell? Are you currently on a lease? Are you on a time crunch? You know, are you relocating? All of those questions, then you'll get the feel from the buyer. Are they already working with someone? Are they with a reload company? So we can get information. Is it worth our time or is it just one and done? Okay, call your realtor because you already have a realtor.
One thing on location that helps kind of give authority is whenever you know something about the neighborhoods. Anytime I ask about a location, even if I'm like, obviously I feel like I'm very familiar with Fort Worth, but just some little nuanced comment about whenever they're like, I really like, you know, whatever side of town, or I really like the Fairmount neighborhood. You're like, oh yeah, we do a ton of stuff in Fairmount. The homes are charming or whatever. You say something about the comment, like a small little comment about their location that they like, even if you like barely know it, just one little comment that shows that you are local and know that neighborhood. No other realtor does that. Like they just don't, especially if it's new, you know, it's not a warm lead or something like that.
Yeah.
So I always think like, so every like question, I basically will follow up with a empathetic response of like, yeah, that's great, I agree, or, you know, something like an agreement. But then my next sentence will be authoritative with like, I agree, I also have done blah blah blah. It sounds like you're bragging, but guess what? You are, like, you're winning, like you're providing authority, and what that does is provide comfort and trust. And then you follow up with the next question. And so I just that's like a little sales technique thing.
I think that's like a lead that I'm working with right now. Like she's gonna be a TCU professor starting in January. She's moving from tech, you know, like in Lubbock, and then she's like, girl, she's like, I'm single and like I want to move, but like I want to live in a construction neighborhood, but I don't want to live out. So I gotta meet somebody, and I'm like, girl, let me talk to people at my office. You know, like where, you know, I'm like, I married them all, you know, whatever. I live in Parker County, but I was like, all the each in my office don't have a hot spot. I'm like, I'll be back with you. And she's like, you know, so like trying to like make connections and So, yeah, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
At least
I would say even better than that would be like, hey, we have a retired cop that knows the safest neighborhoods in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Like literally, I mean, you don't have to say it, but you can say that we got a retired cop that literally knows the safest neighborhoods
Yeah.
on staff. Like he's our boss. Like boom, that like just give an extra authority. Or my cousin is a cop, or whatever. Or my cousin's the head of a school district. I don't care if you have a cousin head of a school district, just say it. Like just give the authority. Give that little, just even that extra. Because what you just did is you did the empathy piece, right? You're like, I'm empathetic. I'm with you. I got you. Give me some authority. You combo both of those things. Man,
Yeah.
killing it.
Well, it's not getting trouble with that one,
Yeah.
because we could, just let them know that, I can send you a link where you can actually look at all of that, demographics or whatever.
Yeah, you can't buy it. Yeah.
Just to clarify
I'm
that.
going down sales road and not realtor
Yeah,
road.
Yeah, are you talking about the safe, neighborhood safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do agree
Sorry,
with that. Like,
No.
your mindset on the call is that you are trying to build trust, and if your mindset is fixed around the fact that you are a trusted real estate professional, I mean, that should be embedded in your brain. That every point of contribution within the conversation is coming from, you can call it authority or you can call it trusted professional. And you're posturing yourself in front of them with those types of comments, and it establishes it so much quicker. Like that.
So motivation. So we continue to ask the questions, what is it that is motivating to get into the market to buy your new home or upsize? So any questions on that one? Now, closing the call, always leave your client with clear and steps expectations of when or how you should be contacting them or them to contact you. Either do you prefer a phone call, do you prefer a text, do you prefer an email, and then that's how you typically would contact the prospect. I think at that point they're not clients yet, but your prospect, your customer. I was going to a little go off script. I do a lot of so on the Zillows, when we used to get Zillows, again, I used to meet them at the house and then build that rapport. And then if they ghosted me, then I would send videos, like video texts. And I would get a response on those video texts, like, hey, I've been trying to call you. I was in the area and I thought about you, give me a call if, if anything happened. And I would get a phone call back and they would say, oh, I've just been busy, or we have to wait or whatever. I know that sometimes that is a little awkward. It is. I still sweat when I send them. I do.
Yeah, but I love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how they'll respond to something
Yes.
like that? That's out of your comfort zone. But yeah, that's weird.
And when you have not met them, even a text video message, then they'll get to see your face and now they will reply to you.
Yeah.
I've had, and actually they've been out of state where they actually replied and they just went, I got my house.
Yeah.
On the same note, on some of, well, I guess, do you have any questions?
No, I just love what you're sharing.
Yeah.
Because I think more than anything, it's like having you share that, like, even for me, like, it's a confidence booster. Because, sometimes you're like, I don't want to be stupid. Like, I don't want to be like, God, she's so annoying. But I think you're positioning it as like, we provide value and we don't need to forget that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we don't have the confidence to like keep reaching out. But like the stats are like, I believe you reach out like 12 to 15 times, right? And that seems like ludicrous because anybody that reaches out to me 15 times, I'm not interested. Like, you're either getting blocked or you're going to get a colorful message.
So on follow-ups with some of your calls, it can either be a phone call or a text. I've had people ghost me where our broker told me, well, did I do something wrong? They will reply to you. I've had actually responses where I say, well, did I do something wrong? Oh, no. Or they'll give you the reason. And then you'll start that conversation again through
Yeah,
text.
so they like kind of feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God.
Yeah. Also to clean up your phone, I got this one from Brian. It was like, okay, are you still looking for a house? B, you stopped looking. 3, you changed your mind. 4, you got another realtor. And then they would reply with whatever response. Okay, well, that one's already done.
That one,
This other one is just pretty much here. This one's already done.
this is, what's that one? Best,
This is best practices connection policy.
okay, not that one. Sorry, guys, I'm looking for the one that she's doing right now. Give me just a second to find it.
Yeah.
Best practices? Okay, that one. Okay,
Here, this is the rest of yours.
there we go.
We need one for, offer. You have another one.
Did everybody get one?
Again, if you're watching on YouTube, this will be in Slack. And everybody that's watching us live, I'll put this all in Slack later today along with the video.
So this is just another, a little good reminder of, words are powerful. What we could actually respond to, some of our prospects. So when I was in a call center, they always taught us you have to talk with a smile because it literally, what is it? It transfers as you're talking with a smile.
Oh, that's great. I never heard that before.
They used to give us mirrors and they did.
That's crazy.
They did. And so when I became a call quality, when I had to grade my peers, what was it? Tone and emphasis was one of them. And so we were able to tell when someone was actually in a good mood or smiling when they were answering the call. So that is also one of the first responses from when I answer a phone call. Oh, good afternoon. This is Maria. I stopped saying hello a long time ago, even if I know it's dad. I'm kidding. That would be weird. So this is pretty much just a script. You still, you make it your own. It still talks about your appointment, your location, and motivation with your prospect. So still the same questions. A strong one, they suggest, when would you like to see it? As the first question. A good response is, when would you like to see the property? I just think that was funny. I guess it's more verbiage. On location, what other properties caught your attention? A good one, what other homes would you like to see? And motivation, what would you like about these homes? Good, is there a certain number of beds?
So that is
It's
just like shorter.
telling you,
to the
yes,
point.
yes.
You don't want them to get away. Well, they're
Right.
really busy and want to get off the phone, so you want to try to keep them on.
Mhm. So less words is good.
I want to hit something on that last page there, because this is one of Jana's rules of thumb. The strong closing, great. I look forward to connecting with you Saturday at 3 p.m. Jana is a big fan of, I never get off a phone call without setting the expectation of the next interaction. Whether I'm going to text you later, I'm going to email you later, I'm going to call you later. Jana, you want to expound on that?
We call it fan, book a meeting from a meeting. It's an old sales technique. But you're always in the mindset of setting yourself up for the next interaction so that you're not leaving it cold. You leave them with expectation and understanding of where we're heading, what our next step is. And so you have to kind of have what you're trying to close them on in mind with each call. Like, If it's a sign call, I'm trying to close them on a face-to-face meeting or a showing. If it's, my gosh, what would be another example of that? Maybe you're midway through the process and you've already shown them homes and they don't really like what we saw today. And we're standing face to face. Well, what am I trying to close them on now? Well, okay, I'm gonna go back and take another look at things, maybe expand our search a little bit. How about I give you a call Monday afternoon after the weekend and we'll kind of discuss what our game plan's gonna be. But I have a meeting to talk to them again and move it forward. You're always trying to move it through the pipeline, you know, from being just a contact to being a prospect, being somebody that you're actively working with, and then you have your sales funnel that you work through once you get them under contract. So just know what you're trying to close for that product. And it's not the sale all the time. It's a meeting or your next point of contact or your next objective. But communicating those things helps them stay in step with you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times like your recap after a phone call or like when you're leaving a showing or a listing appointment, like I'm pretty good about within the first 2 hours after I've got a phone with you or met with you or saw you or whatever, is kind of follow up and kind of regurgitate what I've said, like how it went and what the expectation is going forward. So they know open-ended, like, okay, like we're on a path, like she's followed up, like she's making notes, and not then like leaving, you know, like you're saying, like you show a couple of houses, people, you know, didn't find the one, maybe disappointed, maybe discouraged, but that we sort of have a plan of action and an action set going forward, to kind of give them to want to keep reconnecting, I guess.
What if they go to an open house and meet with their agent?
Yeah.
And you don't have anything set up to follow up with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you're leaving it open.
Yeah.
By not having something booked.
So I typically follow up with a text and it was nice meeting you. It was great. You know, I will set you up, you know, send you some more or whatever the case, but it does actually follow up with a text.
Yeah.
I usually recap anyways, no matter what appointment I go on, because you know, buyers and sellers, they don't hear everything you say. There's so much information sometimes that I always follow them, hey, this is kind of what we talked about. So they have it in writing too.
Yeah.
That's what my old leader, Cody, who doesn't come to our meetings anymore, he taught me to go into one home and send emails from there, because then you can kind of like recap everything you saw and then you can attach the different houses you saw into one home, and always do that after every single meeting because they don't remember what you said. And then it also makes them feel like you're taking time after the appointment to follow back up with them, give them another reason to respond to you. So I always try to do it.
It's a great idea.
Recap the whole day of the
Yeah.
visits or whatever.
It's a great idea.
Well, and I think just like reconnecting with them, I mean, it may be kind of silly, but like emotionally, because I know a lot of people, I get a lot of clients that apologize to me, which sort of in a way like makes me feel like I fall short, or maybe it's just human nature, but they're like, I'm sorry, like I don't mean to waste your time, whatever. And like, I always try to like reassure them, like, hey, this is a process. Like you don't have to have it figured out. And I'm like, I try to reiterate that many times over, is like, this is a process. Like if you're buying a home, like it's a process. And the picture that we painted, like the first day we sat down in consultation, or the first house you sent me, isn't necessarily the product that we end up, you know, at the end, because it's hard for them to see that picture. And I see that process over and over again. So it's very easy to get very lax, where you're like, oh yeah, well, what they sent me in the price point and the area and all that, like is not gonna, where we're gonna come out at. And so we get very lax about it, but I think you have to connect with them emotionally every time you have contact, to be like, hey, don't get discouraged. Like, you know, we've now, you know, marked off this area, or we know, you know, this type of house is not what you want, or whatever. And like, we're making progress. Like this is a part of the process, because people get really like discouraged because they have this dreamy, you know, picture in their head, and they want it to be easy and want it to be fun. And it's like, I try to make the things that way. Like I try to go out to lunch or something like that when I'm out showing houses and things like that. I mean, not always, but I try to make it a fun experience. But I do realize on the other end that I sort of have to bring them down to reality and remind them about the process.
So I sent a PowerPoint of the three.
Mhm. You want that one next?
Yeah.
Give me a
two
second.
video, apps that I use. So there's the Marco Polo app. That one keeps your video, and the other person must have the app too in order for you to send that video. Or you can send them an invite and then they have to download the app. But you can actually see who already has the app because it'll say invite if they're not. And you can send a video through there because it'll also notify them. The other one, Vimeo, also that one's a link, and it doesn't. The only downfall to that one is that whatever message you send, it is actually broadcasted on the like a feed. Yeah, it is on the feed. But who's on there anyways? I mean, so they're able to see all of the messages that I've sent to other people if they scroll through my profile, but I'm able to see it whenever they're open to the app or view the app video. Because if you send it through your Google, sometimes your message, you're gonna have to trim, and you're gonna have to trim, and then you're gonna have to trim. And so those are the two that I typically use. The Marco Polos, I do a lot of my virtuals as well. And Vimeo is typically just a short message.
So I use Google Duo for all my virtuals because I don't know an iPhone, so I can't FaceTime, but you can send videos through that.
Does it keep it?
No, let me look.
So what Marco does, it actually keeps your video so that if your client is not with you at the same time, they're able to go back and view it. But they can also view it at the same time with you. You just can't see the messages that they're sending you.
I have some questions about like, when we get like Real Scout leads from Ryan and like how you approach those people and kind of getting that, are you working with a realtor? Are you qualified? Kind of where in the, like, what's kind of the first question? Because they're not necessarily in front of a property. You might get a Real Scout lead that hasn't even looked at anything in Real Scout. So I guess how do you kind of, like, what's the first text? And then how do you kind of get that appointment set?
The first is your phone call. Hopefully getting them you actually talking to them, right? When I get them on the phone, I ask them, well, thank you for actually signing up for the 6th Avenue Homes website. Because typically that's how we get them. They signed into the website, right? Well, I noticed that you were looking at some of the houses. Is there, a house that you were interested in? And then they're going to tell you, oh, well, I really like the Fairmont community. I know that the ones that I've spoken to, they'll tell me a specific community that they're interested in. Okay, great. How long have you been looking? Or, what is it that Fairmont, what do you like about Fairmont? Oh, well, the school is, walking distance and I love the neighborhood. Okay, awesome. Well, how long have you been looking for? And then they'll tell you, well, I've been looking for a year. Oh, really? Oh, so are you working with a realtor? Yes, I was just actually, I like your colors and I like what y'all are doing on.
Then
So
we're
they'll
like,
tell
oh,
us,
signing up for it.
yes. But if you get one where they say, well, I was just looking for houses, I'm new, I'm out of state, my lease expires in 6 months. Okay, great. Well, what areas are you interested in? Well, I don't know the area yet. Oh, okay. Well, what do you like? Do you have kids? And then you get into, well, I know some areas where from the criteria that you're telling me about the house, I can send you some, and then we can set up an appointment to see if there's any that interest you. We come up with a route. If they say, oh, that sounds great.
If they don't answer the phone call, do you send a text or do you keep trying a few times via phone call?
No, actually, if they don't answer the first one, then I'll send a text the very next day. I tried contacting you. Thank you for signing up. Same kind of stillage. Thank you for signing up for the 6th Avenue Homes. Was there, a house that you were interested in? Are you in the market? So I ask the questions through text, unfortunately. And then some of them will reply, some of them will not. But then you send another one later. So actually, I did not have that one. There's a formula for texting, how many times you want to text.
They'll be mama?
Yes, that's what it is.
I can
You
get
have
it. I have it. We've gone through that before, but
Yeah.
yes, we have it.
So you don't get a response. So phone call first, they text the second, then you wait a couple of days and then you send another follow-up. Oh, I've been trying to contact you. let me know if you're, still interested in it, whatever your spill is. If they don't reply, then you wait. So that was what, first, second, 2 days, then the third, then you do another 3 days and you send up another follow-up.
Here you go.
And you wait longer. That's the one.
That's called LP Mama. LP Mama. Location, price, motivation.
So let me clarify day one.
Okay.
Day one, if you left a voicemail, you cannot call again. So those are rules of call centers. If you left a voicemail, you cannot call again because then they can call it harassment. So when you call, then you hang up. Don't leave a voicemail. Yeah, unfortunately. And there's an ethic, and not just going by call center time. It's 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. because after 8 p.m. it's harassment. So if you get a phone call, then you can take it if you want, but you cannot call it out.
Just know it's not like legal harassment. It's not like illegal,
Right, yeah,
but it's
right.
like annoying.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it. Yeah.
So I typically keep them from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then if they call me after those times or before that time, which I never get it, but that's typically the rule of thumb. So don't leave voicemails if it's your first phone call, because you can call later again and they may potentially answer. I don't know, and I don't remember where I heard it, but if you get a phone call and you're not able to get to the phone, then you call again, they don't answer, hang up, and then call one more time because for whatever reason they didn't pick it up the first time, you can call again right afterwards. And a lot of the times they will pick up. So I've tried that and it's actually worked. Then you send a text, but I don't. I send it the very next day. Then the phone call and then the text. So call and then you send off the text. Then you send an email, phone call and then email, and then you call and then text again, and then
Facebook stuff.
I started doing that actually. I did.
You just send a message.
I
Like,
do.
hey,
Well,
you
you
my phone, like, and I have a name and a number, then you pop up in my Facebook feed. And so, like, you just send a message for like, hey, I noticed you connected on my Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
that was one,
You're a suggested friend.
I did. So it was like that. It actually suggested the friend, and I remembered the name. I don't know from where, but I remembered the name, and I replied. So I sent her a Facebook message, and I told her, "Oh, I noticed that you were actually going to be selling your house." And she says, "Yes, I just don't know when I'm going to start interviewing and yada yada." And we had been messaging through Facebook. And then she says, "Oh, I just signed up with listings work." But yeah, I started doing that too. I started stalking people on Facebook.
I stalk sellers, I'm not gonna lie. My buyers like, oh, they are about to retire. I think anything will probably at this point. Wow,
That's a good idea.
I'm
That's a good idea.
when I find out their name.
I'm not quite the stalker she is. I'm a stalker. She's a stalker. She knows everything.
She owns up.
But I have started telling my clients, I'm like, go look the people up on Facebook. Like, and it helps a lot with negotiations because people post on their
They
Facebook the stupidest stuff where they're like, we're moving to Louisiana.
Exactly.
We're so eager to see the kids before the holidays. I'm like, we got this. And it didn't come from me because I told them to go do it. So I'm like, we can negotiate here. We got motivation.
So on day 2, I would actually send an actual video.
Okay.
And then if you do all that and they still ghost you, do you then like once a month, just, hey, I'm still
just
here?
maybe- Well, I give them the choice.
Yeah.
Have you found
Okay.
someone? Have you changed your
Do
mind?
they think it's like an automatic text or
Sometimes
something? And
they
think they're
do.
just-
Sometimes they do, and they'll tell you, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop.
For sure.
Yeah.
So somebody asked what LP Mama is. That's LP Mama. Location, price, motivation. Are you working with another agent? Mortgage status and availability to meet for an appointment. What we used to teach agents at REMAX was if you're working from a yellow piece of paper, a notepad, you write LP Mama across the top and then you run it.
I have a consultation, but actually, I keep it in here and I can literally take notes on talking to them on the phone. I just make a copy of it and start going right down through. Mine isn't LP Mama, but it is. You know, it's all of those same things that kind of take you, and with the mindset of I want just enough information to be able to book an appointment at the end and be able to start meeting needs.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to put this in Slack, Savannah.
You know, can I ask you a question? How effective do you think it would be like these calls, like say a referral exchange or any other service like that? Like you get a lead, you have a good conversation, and the follow-up is like a lot of these questions, like, is it bad to send them like a Google form link to be like, hey, I'm going to send you a link follow-up just to get some information from you? Like, to me, like a big thing for me is like, it just depends on who it is, but like, I want to know your preferred method of contact. Because I have some people that never want to talk on the phone. I have, want to they want to only text or they want to only email or whatever. And sometimes I feel like and that's obviously something you could say like on a phone conversation as well, like what's your preferred method of contact? But I feel like that's really important because I know some people like, I'm a phone call person. I'm going to call you.
She's the only one I talk to on the phone. Only person.
That's because. Anyways, but like for me, like I hate texting a book. That annoys me. Like I can have a 2-minute conversation with you, get a lot of information, get through things, whatever, and I can move on about my day. This drives me insane sometimes. But I think that's really important to understand how people want to communicate because I think you can convert them as a lead much better if you know how to communicate.
You sent me one more. Do you want to hit this before we get done? We got about 5 minutes left. This is your intro.
So this is another script that Zillow provided. Same thing. Hello, my name is, I'm with Zillow. Yeah, it's just another script. So that one can actually be, selected. Because I think that we all fix our scripts to our own personality.
Yes.
Well, I'll put all these, and along with LP Mama, I'll put all that into Slack, and then I'll share the video there so you guys can go back and watch this for your best ideas. Thank you to Maria for providing this information.
I'm going to email this to you, but just to kind of show you guys, this is what I use digitally every time, and it does all the same thing. Have a form that you can fill out whenever because you never know. Keep it in a car or whatever, or just have it. But it
I'm
goes.
getting one for Christmas.
Every time I see you using that, I'm like,
I can just tell them.
Remarkable.
The minute I get them on the front, and it stores all these files, so you can copy it and make a duplicate and all that kind of blank copy. But I'm doing a lot of this housekeeping. The minute I get them on the phone, it's like, okay, give me your name, your number. What is the best way for me to communicate with you? When's the best time to call? If we go on showing appointments, what does your availability look like? Just a lot of those types of questions that I'm doing, just some housekeeping right up front. Who all's in your household? What's important to you? Like what? And I'm going to ask them about their history and their objectives. I'm going to ask them about any concerns that they have and just really begin to flush all of that out so I can take care of them and restate those things back to them. Knowing those inside tips is really great. Well, remember whenever we had our consultation, you had stated this. Is that still important to you? Because they'll say, oh, I want this. And then we're looking at something completely different over here. And you kind of, use it as a guide to keep them going. But this has been my lifesaver. Do you have pets? How big of a yard is important? Do you have hobbies? Do we need to think about where to put the motorcycle or the boat?
and do you usually try to get these answered on your first phone call with them or your first in-person appointment?
This is my buyer's consultation.
Okay.
So it depends on how I'm receiving them.
Yeah, because I always worry about coming off like too direct and
Mhm.
too strong, too soon.
If I got them on a phone from a cold lead, I would really try to use this to warm them up to me because this sounds very professional and very like, I know what I'm doing and we're going to get to business and we're going to take care of this. You've got a goal you want to meet. I'm the right person to help you with that. But it depends. You have to mirror and match. So you pick up kind of an attitude or a disposition with them if they're real standoffish, how you're going to break down that wall. But this would be like the culmination of all of this. If I can't, if they, oh, I've only got a few minutes to talk, okay, well, I would really like to spend about 10 minutes on the phone with you, consulting with you, finding out what's really important to you. When is a good time for us to reconnect? We can either do it through Zoom, or we can do it through the phone, or we can coffee. And then you're booking that meeting from a meeting, and then you kind of gather this.
Did you think you would send it to my sharing?
Yeah, I will. I just don't have internet in here right now on this. I was trying to send it. I'm like, okay. But
Remarkable.
I'm not as savvy as I should be.
I know, that's on my.
But yeah, no, it's a good idea, and anybody can use it. So yeah, I'll share it.
Again, thank you. I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you all for joining today. John, Megan, Mina, Sheree, good to see you guys. We'll see you hopefully soon, and take care.
Thank you.
Bye, Sheree.
Do you normally just use it for the write-ins?
Okay.
Do you usually just use it for writing?